Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hey, Becky.
So, on this quick shot of romance, we're going to do something a little different. We are giving you a TBR with the pro athlete meet rock star romance, but I also added one other book in here that is not quite that, but it has the same kind of hero vibes. This is what happens when Heather calls you at 10 o'clock at night after she has spent way too many hours on TikTok.
Yeah.
Falling in love with the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift relationship or whatever it is.
Yeah, I totally shipped them. And I was like, okay, so hear me out.
It's funny because that's a really cute, fun matchup, right? Pro athlete meets pop star princess.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
And
he's like the golden boy. You know what I mean? He just won the Super Bowl. He's super cute. He's dynamic. He's just
he's the
things.
fun uncle. He's the fun single uncle. He's, very much in with his brothers and his family, and he loves his mom. So we went looking for books that we think you will like if you are as mesmerized by that relationship as Heather is. So
this obviously isn't dropping. Oh, go ahead.
You're fine. It's going to drop here in October. It'll be here.
So the Vikings play the Chiefs today. And so Minneapolis has been totally buzzing. Like, is Taylor going to be here? No one literally cares about the Vikings and the Chiefs playing. They're all like, is Taylor Swift going to be here? So people are buying tickets just in the hopes that they get to see Taylor Swift, because who cares about football when Taylor might be in Minneapolis?
That's so funny. So we will link the synopsis for all four of these books on our on the shelf show notes at buzzingaboуtromance.com. So here are the books. We're going to go one by one. We're just going to give you some brief little synopsis about the books, kind of where you can find them, and then what we think about it. And one of the things that we're looking for are kind of cinnamon roll hero, which we all know how I feel about them, but these are also going to be like something dynamic within the story, which is why we picked the ones that we picked. So first up is Superfan by Serena Bowen. This released on June 25th of 2019. It's a sports romance second chance. It's part of the Brooklyn Hockey series. These are interconnected standalones. The narrators for this book are Aaron Shedlock and Virginia Rose. And did you do the audio for this one?
I did.
I reread this one. It was. Okay, so the audio, is it in Kobo Plus?
I don't know. I actually she had like bundled like a few of them, and I bought it.
No, I looked. It is in Kobo Plus.
Oh,
I looked. Like, I did the research. And the ebook is available everywhere, and it's in your, probably in your Libby or in Hoopla. Okay, so let's talk about the characters. Our hero is a professional hockey player for the Brooklyn Bruisers.
Yes.
But he kind of took a different route to hockey.
Yeah, and I read it earlier this week, but they're all melding together. I think he's a goalie, and his name is Silas. And the teammates totally bait her. Like, there's like some Twitter buzz, and the team like basically forces him into.
But they don't know. The team doesn't know that they actually have a history together.
Correct.
So this is a second chance.
He never really let people know that. Like, they never really realized why he was so obsessed with her. And that their meet cute is, I had forgotten how much I loved that meet cute.
So Silas Kelly, he's the goalie for the Brooklyn Bruisers. His pop star princess is Delilah Sparks. And Delilah so there's some content trigger warnings probably needed for this book a little bit, because Delilah was the victim of date rape. And she does not
Mhm.
she does not drink anything that she doesn't open herself. She was slipped the date rape drug by somebody she trusted.
Mhm.
And because of that, like, she has to open her own beer bottles, her own water bottles. She has to watch the bottle be opened and poured directly into her glass. And Silas is so thoughtful and so
Mhm.
kind. And they actually meet when he's working a summer job as a bartender on the beach.
Yes, when it's like a music fest.
Um, so,
Goes by his nickname.
right. Silas and Delilah reconnect, and their passion for one another is so intense. These two are
Mhm.
so intense together. Um, we haven't done any quick shots on Serena Bowen's books. We probably should.
Yeah,
I don't know
for
why
sure.
we haven't.
I know.
But this one is really great, and it's nice to visit the other characters from the Brooklyn Bruisers. But there's kind of a softness and a sweetness and a caregiver. So if you listen to the New Heights podcasts that the Kelsey brothers have together, you know that, like, Travis cares very deeply for his nieces. He loves them very much. But I actually will say that I feel like Silas Kelly is more Jason Kelsey.
Probably, yeah, I would say a little like Jason is very, very, very down to earth.
Yeah.
Like he wears flip-flops and
Right.
his shorts everywhere.
Yeah.
He gives zero toots about anything.
Right. He's not really a fashion guy, doesn't have the
Mm-mm.
porny mustache. So, but total cinnamon roll hero, Silas is. And so that is Super Fan by Serena Bowen. The next book, Playing Hurt by Kelly Jamieson.
Mm.
This was released July 17th of 2018. It's a sports romance. It's a meet cute. It's part of the Aces hockey series. This is interconnected standalones. The audio narrators for this are Alexander Sindis and Kesha Kensington.
Mhm.
And this is available. The audio is on Hoopla, and the ebooks are available everywhere. And this was a reread. All of these books are rereads for me. I love the Aces. I just love them.
I it is probably you and I are one of our favorite series ever.
Yeah. And I don't feel like we give enough Kelly Jamieson love. Like,
No, this series, this and the Win hockey series, well, and the Heller, like there's a whole bunch. This is one of my favorite books in this series. I love it.
yeah. So our
The
hero,
banter.
our
Go
hero
ahead.
is Chase,
Mhm.
and he was a prospect, like, drafted 8 overall the year that he came out, like, huge
Mhm.
prospects. Everyone thought he was going to be like this great, but he's
Yep.
really struggled to find his footing.
Yeah, he was kind of a party animal, kind of got a bad rap. Did win the Stanley Cup, so that's amazing. He got traded. Um, and he's sort of obsessed with Jordan.
Yeah. So Jordan Kelly she was a Chicago girl, but then became a music star and has moved to LA. And so now she is an LA fan of the California Condors, which is the
Mhm.
Wynn family team.
Mhm.
Um, and they get a meet cute via Twitter.
It is so cute. I love it so much.
It is a
And
great meet cute.
she's like a Disney, she was kind of like a Disney print, like
She's a
she
Hannah
did those
Montana.
correct, perfect example.
Yeah.
Yep. Hmm.
It's Hannah Montana vibes. Like, she had a music career as a Disney pop star and then has gone out on her own and is just now releasing her first album. And she's coming into her own as a solo artist. I think the best part in this book is she wants low-key dates because she's starting to get a following and the fans are getting a little overwhelming. The bowling date.
Yes.
when he takes her bowling.
They have awesome dates. Like, so cool.
Yeah. I loved this book.
Same, same. I love, love. And like, they're just, yeah. Like, and how she kind of gets like super excited to meet all these guys that she watched play hockey. And they're like, I'm sorry, but we're fangirling. They're like all fangirling for each other.
Well, in the beginning of the book, she talks about her obsession with Mark Dupree when she
Mhm.
was growing up and how she had his poster. And
Yeah.
then she gets to meet him. And she's like, oh,
Oh my God.
oh my God, you're Mark Dupree. He's just
I
like,
know.
yeah, but you're you.
Hello, do you know who you are? And it's just such a great written book. And I love the team dynamic, but it's really focused on the two of them. And it's so great. And the audio is phenomenal. So do yourself a favor
Okay,
and read
so
it.
next up is This Is Crazy by Natasha Madison. Now, our
Mhm.
heroine in this book is not a pop princess, but
No.
she's kind of a hockey princess, but also in her own right, a top end fashion commentator. And
Yeah, she's the big deal.
she's a big deal. Like, she has a following of people that want her to, dress them and pick out, find their styles and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, This Is Crazy by Natasha Madison, released June 2nd of 2019. It is a sports romance. There's an absolute meet cute. It is a fake relationship, and it is a slow burn. This is book one in the This Is series, and it's
Mhm.
interconnected standalones. Um, Audio narrators are Samantha Summers and Jack DuPont, whatever. Um, the audio is available on Hoopla. The ebook is in Kindle Unlimited.
Mhm.
Go
This
ahead.
is like the third time I've read this book, I think. It is one of my favorites of
So
hers.
our hero is Ethan,
Mhm.
and our this is Zoe, right?
Zara.
Zara. So our heroine is Zara. Her twin sister is Zoe, and Zara has been dumped and
Mhm.
finds out that within like 4 months of her being dumped
Yeah.
from a guy she had been dating for a year and a half and thought was going to propose to her, that he is getting married. And she finds it
Mhm.
on his social media.
Instagram.
Yeah. And decides that in order to get back to him, what she's going to do is she's going to crash the wedding, but she's going to start dating his ultimate hockey crush. And that's Ethan.
Yeah.
So she tweets him and says, hey, want to be my plus one to crash a wedding? And he's like, yeah, sure. Sure, I'm
Sure.
in. Um,
Good.
and I forgot that.
And not everyone's happy about that situation on both sides of the family. Like,
No, but first of all, Max and Matthew, you get early. If you are reading Natasha's later stuff, the Only series or the This Is
mhm.
Only You series, then you see Max and Matthew as brothers and friends and cohorts. In this book, they're still very much not in love with each other, but just starting to develop their true bond of brotherhood. They still are a little,
Zara is Matthew's sister.
yeah.
And so he's like, excuse me? No, we are not dating my sister. And Evan's like, what's the big deal? And then Evan's sister is also kind of a biatch.
Yeah,
So,
Candace, which is interesting
yes.
because Candace has her own story in Only
Mm-hmm.
One Kiss, and she's pretty great in that book. Um,
That was hard because I didn't like her at all. And so then when we got to her book, I was like, okay, I'll be a little ambivalent to her and we'll see how this goes.
But she wins you over in that book. But she's a
She
bitch.
does.
She's a bitch in this book. And
Hmm.
I think one of the things that gets this book, so after the first Taylor Swift appearance at one of Travis Kelce's football games, there was a, obviously everybody an uptick in buzz, and, the NFL really laid hard into it. And then he made a statement on his podcast and on his social media that, like, I'm glad you all have had fun, but going forward, my personal life is no longer up for discussion. Like, I'm
Hmm.
keeping it private, like he has in the past. He hasn't really pushed out his personal life, except he does have a very cringy reality show he did, dating Kelsey, which was terrible. But Ethan is that guy in this book.
Hmm.
Like, if you liked that protector, caregiver vibe of, I'm with somebody and yeah, we're kind of both out there, but we're gonna keep it a little more contained. That's Ethan.
Yep.
And that's Ethan and Zara, because she, as much as she loves her brothers and loves her dad, she really doesn't function within the world of hockey. Her and her sister begrudgingly go to the games.
Hmm. For the food.
They
She
go,
even says, like, I go for the food.
yeah. And so when, like, her brothers see her in his jersey, and they, like, flip the freak out.
Yeah, they're like, excuse me? You don't even like hockey.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't like your hockey, but his hockey is pretty great.
There was some,
The scene in this,
wait, there was what?
there was a scene where one of the players was talking about Zara, and Evan is like, hey, do you want me to punch you? And he was like, no. And he's like, then stop talking about her.
Yeah.
And like the whole locker room was going crazy laughing. It was the best.
He was really sweet, very
Hmm.
swoony, very much the caregiver. And he took things at her pace, knowing that she was having some issues, because of her past and because of the spotlight in her family. He did it at her pace. But I really like the two of them together.
Same.
So my last one, which I don't think you've read this one, was Fumbled by Alexa Martin. This came out April 23rd of 2019. It's a sports romance, single mom, secret baby, second chance. This is part of the Playbook series. These are interconnected standalones. Audio narrator is Najema Kamara, and this is available everywhere. In this book, Poppy Patterson is a single mom whose high school sweetheart was TK Moore, who's a wide receiver for the Denver Mustangs. And they were high school sweethearts, but broke up when he went away to college. Shortly after he left, she found out she was pregnant.
Oh.
But other things had happened. She's biracial. He was white. There was some other family drama. So he didn't know he had this child. And the little boy in the book is called Little Ace. And Poppy and TK meet again when she's working as a stripper and he comes into the strip club.
Oh.
And then he finds out he's also a daddy. But one of the great things in this book is Alexis Martin was the wife of an NFL player. So
Yeah.
she is a WAG and has lived that life. But anyway, this story really addressed the relevant issues of brain injury in football. It added depth to the plot because of that piece. And then if you really like second chance romances and in sports romances, then you absolutely should be reading Alexis Martin. I've reread book 1 and 2 in the last 2 weeks because, of course, the football and NFL romance inspired me to go looking back at all my old football romances because I haven't read a ton recently. And I am rereading this series by Alexis Martin. And if you haven't read it, you absolutely should. It's very good.
And the cover is adorable. Like, I love it. She was one of the first ones to do illustrated covers.
She was.
And it's awesome.
Yeah. And the books are just really well written. They are a little slower burn, but they're previous to 2020 trad pubs, so there is spice. Like
Perfect.
they're not super muted or anything yet. Okay, so those are our ship TBRs for you.
Yes.
If we
If
miss,
there's more, we'll find them.
well, if there's more, send us an email to thebees@bookcaseandcoffee.com so that we can add them to our TBR and hopefully do,
Mhm.
maybe we'll do an updated list. Heather, thanks so much for hanging out with me and talking all about your new obsession.
Anytime. Thank you for humoring me. I appreciate it.
You're not even a football fan. Which
No,
is
I like
so,
literally, I just told my husband, I'm like, the only reason I like football is because it gets me closer to hockey season.
it's so funny. Anyway, until next time, everyone, happy reading.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.